what a finish. I mean, you were banging on the door there all day, and it came at the right time.
Yeah, I had a few opportunities before, and at the end, I was happy that I could score them.
Yeah, you had a couple of seconds just to double check, and then you celebrated.
Yeah, wasn't sure, to be honest, but when I saw the referee, then emotions came out.
Well, I'm not surprised. Tell us when your last Champions League goal was. Do you remember?
No, not really, to be honest.
I'm going to give you 9 years ago.
That's a long time ago. Oh, my God.
In the first half, Virgil, I mean, you were putting on the pressure, created more chances, took the lead with Mo's goal, and then we thought you'd go on from there.
We tried.
Yeah.
And they scored with the first very chance, I think. But obviously coming back from the horror show in Naples, it was very important for us to show a positive reaction. And it's not easy, it's not easy to turn it around. But this is a step to the right direction, in my opinion. I think, during the game, I think great moments. And something to work on. It was very important to win today and get that good feeling going into the international break.
We could see the effort, we could see the motivation. You had a few chances yourself tonight.
I should have scored, but obviously we felt like we were dangerous in every set piece, especially the corners. So it was our responsibility to at least convert one, and luckily the one and only Joel Matip did it.
As you say, a step forward. I mean, there's a lot of medal winners in that dressing room. You guys know what to do to make this right.
Yeah, not listening to the outside world, that's the most important thing. It's funny sometimes, because there's a lot of ex-football players and they know exactly what we go through, but, they say a lot of things to try and get us down. We know exactly that last week was unacceptable. It was very, very bad, and we try to make it right, and this is what I said before. This is a step to the right direction. Don't get carried away, of course, because we play so many games. Now it's time to focus on the national teams or get a well-deserved break for a little bit and then crack on for the rest of the...
Yeah, we can see the effort. Joel, you look exhausted, emotionally drained from the whole experience.
Yeah, it was a long and tough game. We tried it really over 90 minutes to create chances, and we were pushing forward, the whole team, starting defending from the first second, and and then with a happy end for us, yeah.
Good result. The group looks a lot better as well, doesn't it?
It's a good step. Let's carry on.
Good. Thanks, John.
Thank you very much.
Spot Ultimate from 11:30. Well, those are the half-time match stats. As you can see, just the one shot on target for Ajax, but one shot on target is all they've needed to make it 1-1 at the break. What have you made of it, Michael?
Yeah, I have felt that Liverpool have dominated, but not dominated in terms of rip them apart like we've seen in the past. Ajax really haven't had so much in the Liverpool box, but when they had a chance, they finished it clinically. But in general terms, I felt Liverpool are the team probing. Even though they're not at their best, they do feel as if they're in control of the game. But when your confidence is slightly knocked, then any little, chance, it seems to go in the back of your net, and you miss a few chances. But they're kicking into the cop in the second half, and I expect them to hopefully go and wrap this one up. But their goal starts actually with a long goalkeeper's kick, and really it's a defensive mistake, Rio.
Yeah, I think that the centre-half Timber and the full-back getting 6s and 7s there. You don't want your full-back and your centre-back crossing at all. I think every one of the back four could probably look at this and say, I could have done better. Daley Bryn doesn't get in around Salah. The full-back doesn't cover himself in glory. It's a fantastic finish, though. What a finish that was.
Liverpool fans will be absolutely delighted to see Mo Salah get a goal because he's been struggling this season to put it in the back of the net.
And what about, as a former goalkeeper, what's the goalkeeper's perspective when you do that and it comes off?
Well, I love how it's termed like a long ball. It's a brilliant pass, isn't it?
Yeah. There you go.
It's a 70-yard pinpoint pass, and that wasn't the first, and it wasn't the last in that first half. He was excellent. There was 2 other occasions where it really set up Liverpool to have a good chance at certainly a shot at goal, if not a shot on target.
OK, let's talk about Trent. You had all eyes on him a week ago. He's been once again at the centre of things this evening.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we spoke about being engaged defensively before the game, and listen, you can see just the intentions of the Liverpool team here. Pressing the team, yes, Ajax get out, but again, pressing in the wide areas. Again, Virgil van Dijk comes out. They beat the press, the composure as you expect from an Ajax team. Understand how to play, understand where teams press. Here they're still looking good shape here, Liverpool, decent. But when the ball comes out here, I think we'll see in the next clip, but Trent's got to see that run. But from this point on, it's all about kudos. What a devastating finish. No keeper saving that. And the bit I was talking about with Trent here is just this here. He can see the wide player here. He can see him there. He knows where he's going to go, but he just gets caught ball watching here. And unfortunately, like the guy said, any mistake at the moment, they're getting absolutely punished. And it's unfortunate for Liverpool in that sense, but they've got to kind of clean these things up.
It completely disjoints the back line, though, because Fabinho's then got to step out. Sorry, Matip has got to step out. He's got to leave his player. He's got to step out towards the player who's crossing it in. And it just leaves it open for Burgos and ultimately for the player to score. Brilliant finish.
All right. Thank you very much for now. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back at the second half of, well played, those men, well played Liverpool this evening there at the stats. It makes it absolutely crystal clear, the domination for them this evening. A lot of ex-players tried to talk us down. It's one of the things that I'm sure frustrates footballers is former players coming on the telly and talking about them. Did it used to annoy you?
If I thought it was wrong or I thought it was personal, then I'd get the ump. But if it was deserved, then I'd, hold my hands up and say. And I think, listen, the performance in Naples, I think if they're honest, every single one of their players would go, you know what, it was a bad day at the office and we deserved the criticism we got. But again, I think we reiterated on the night, we wasn't saying they were a bad team overnight. No one was saying they were bad players overnight. It was a bad performance. OK, well, look, we know what they've done this evening. Let's explain to people at home how they did it, shall we?
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the first goal. A long pass, wasn't it, Rachel? Not a long ball.
Yeah,
I'm going to say a long pass.
Very accurate.
And I think if we look at the long ball or long pass from Alex, we've got a situation whereby two defenders here, we will tell you the cardinal sin is to almost cross as defenders, and that's what happens. And all of a sudden, you get Jota just peeling off into a gap here. And then when we pause it, all there is a knock-on effect.
Michael, can I just stop really quickly and ask why is the cardinal sin for defenders to cross like that?
Rio.
It just leads to confusion. I mean, if you take it back here, they're in really good positions in terms of being able to deal with this if they stay like this. If they start this and, say, for instance, the right-back is coming on his side of the pitch and he says, I'm going to go and win it, it's coming on my side of the pitch. Or even if he doesn't, even if he says he's not going to win it, the next guy, centre-half, one of them says, I'm going to win it. When that happens, right, and you say that, then one of you has to be the player that then sweeps here. Get round here and sweep and then provide cover in this area here. Watch what happens. There's zero cover in that area that I've just highlighted once there is confusion. Look, there you go. He gets the other side of him.
Yeah, and what it does is obviously it brings Bassi over from this position. He's got to then cover. Leaves Mo Salah in all this space. And from Mo Salah's point of view, listen, if this was me, I'd be taking a right foot touch here and I'd be shooting with my right foot. Mo Salah's, of course, a left-footed player coming in from the right-hand side. The good thing with this situation, he's got that much room that he can afford to bring it in onto his good foot, which he'll be just absolutely loving. Look at that. He can take a touch in field, which is very, very rare in that situation. So then he's coming in on his left foot and it makes it an easy-ish finish for a man of Mo Salah's quality.
Yeah, I'd be fuming as the goalkeeper, to be fair, with that right back and that right centre-half getting too close together. It leaves Bassi with a massive gap between them, and Daley Blint's not back covering. It just leaves gaps. And, thankfully for Liverpool, they exploited them.
Yeah.
But then coming on to the retribution from Ajax getting back at them, it was a time when Trent Alexander-Arnold switched off. Look at the shape that they're in. Excellent shape. Happy with that. Back four, we've got for Liverpool. In front, solid, no gaps. Exactly what they didn't do against Napoli, in Naples, was to be compact and hard to play through. If we stop it here, Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side there has got eyes on player here, on Berghaus, on the play there. He knows exactly what he's going to do. He's in a good shape with the back line still, but just lets Berghaus just run as he runs on. He's got to match his run. You can see there's no pressure on the ball from Salah. And so, as we were talking about before the match, Alexander-Arnold has to drop in and match the runner.
And you said there, he knows exactly what he's going to do. So why doesn't he run back with the player?
So you're right. We can see what he's going to do. It's almost like he doesn't see the picture and doesn't recognise exactly what his role is defensively, or whether he's passing on that defensive role. I think I said before the game about his thought process were not sharp from a defensive point of view. And that was clear to see tonight as well.
I just want to ask both of you a question on that. My only theory, to answer your question, Jake, if we just take it back, do you think that Trent actually thinks he's blocking that pass and that he doesn't need to run, that there's no space to pass it? Maybe. I'm just trying to think why...
That's a gamble, though. That's the only thing is...
I mean, but a lot of the time, if you're in the right position, you think, well, the only one that's going to get me is over my head. Yeah. I'm actually blocking the channel here. Do you think he's actually thinking, well, there's no way they can pass it alongside? He's got to be thinking something.
Do you know what? The only thing I would say in protection of Trent here, right, if I'm playing here, I'm Trent's eyes and ears there. That's me there in that position. And I'm saying to Trent, anything to feet, you go and get it. And basically stay in that position. I don't mind you staying. The thing will always, and it comes down to communication between the two players before the game. This area here, behind the fullback, was my area. I say to my right back, you go to the ball, go to the player, and if the ball goes over your head, that is me. And if I'm not there, you can shout at me. And it's my fault. But are they having those conversations? Is that communication being had before or during the game to really say to? Because after this whole this finishes, I don't see Trent saying to Matip, "Where was you?" So maybe that conversation hasn't been had.
Can I just ask one other quick question? Once you get into this position here, and let's caveat this with the fact we know he's a phenomenally talented player, and in an Trent. And in an attacking capacity, we'll have a look later at just how great he was for Liverpool going forwards. But in this position here and a few other times this evening, what is the reason for the recovery run not being at the rate of the other players? How do we square that away?
Yeah.
Look at this here.
You're right, the intensity, I'm sure I've seen the stat, it was last season, he's the fastest player at Liverpool. And he's not showing that intent, that desire, that kind of... It's so much to get the green light to go forward and he's off, head down as fast as he can do. From a defensive point of view, it just doesn't seem to register with him as quickly as it should do. I can't imagine it's out of desire to do it. I just think that there's not quite that mental sharpness to do that same, to have that same role. But we were talking as well. All right, what is the makeup of a right back to Jurgen Klopp? Does he want him doing exactly those things, or is he measured more on his attacking prowess? Because we talked again, and he's been well documented tonight some of the great things that he can do. He great strike from 25 yards out, just whistled over the bar. He's attacking. I don't think anyone doubts his attacking capabilities. I just think he would be better all round and more useful to the team if he could sharpen up on those decision making, because he's got the athleticism to do it. I think he's got the knowledge. He's a clever guy, but it's just having that application in key moments.
Okay. I mean, we can take it on to the winner, which we all felt was coming at times. But in this situation, from set pieces, I think aerial duels tonight, they won 73% of aerial duels, Liverpool. And in the box, they were so dominant. We were just sitting there going, but they haven't really hit the target from any of these set pieces yet. And Mo shouted earlier in the game, Matip will score tonight. And he came up with the winner. It was a great header in the end. Bassi doesn't do enough, I don't think, initially with the first challenge. Yeah, and they didn't really have any chance of winning the first contact in the box at any point of this game. And they got punished.
Bassi was the person. Actually, when you look at it, we just cue it again, Rio. When you look at the players, it's actually they're all marking here. This is Fabinho's here with Blind, and then apart from that, you've basically got everybody paired up. And it's Bassi that, if you just watch it slowly, Bassi's actually keeping his eye on Matip, and eventually he's just looking through the bodies. Eventually, he's the closest one to him. So it was his man. And he just, as Rio says, just simply doesn't do enough. He lets him get a run on him, and you can't do that when you're as tall as Matip and you let someone get a run on you. You're dead meat.
And balls in from corners were excellent, both from Tsimikas on that left-hand side, out-swingers, and Trent Alexander-Arnold from the other side. There were at least 4 chances, almost 3 headers from centre-halves, Van Dijk and Matip.
Big
and
moment.
He made one count.
Gave him the win, and it remains to be seen just what a vital win that may well be in the context of this season, but it's certainly a crucial one in the
grandest fixtures. They've got underway here pretty promptly. So, Jim, tell me this, who are you looking for in particular here?
Yeah, Paulo Dybala. His game's all about control and subtlety, rather than power and strength. But that doesn't make it any less effective. He can goes past defenders with a couple of silky skills, create shooting opportunities for himself, or open things up for a few teammates. He's also a huge threat from set plays.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a goal or two. Kluivert with the cross. Abraham has a hit. Pellegrini battles to win it back. Smalling. Wijnaldum. Matic. And here's Dybala. Oh, the ball's come loose. Good run, ultimately thwarted by an astute piece of defending. Crowd appreciates good football all round there. Forward it goes. Matic. Zaniolo. Hoists it forward. And the shot! He's made sure that that won't get through.
Zaniolo. Dybala.
He's a clever pass.
Tries a shot!
Oh, shame, that was nicely worked.
It was such a clever idea to lift it into his path.
Oh, good interception.
Pellegrini. Kluivert. Kluivert threads one through.
Well, the ball's come loose and the chase is on. He is not one readily to admit defeat.